Hi, my name is Weston Swanson, and I'm a counselor in training. Before we jump into anything personal today, I wanted to take a few minutes to go over our informed consent with you. I know that this part can sometimes feel like paperwork or rules, but I see it as an important way to um, help you know what to expect from counseling and to make sure that you feel comfortable as we move forward with everything. So my goal primarily is to explain my role, your rights as the client, confidentiality, some of our telehealth expectations, and to know how we would handle things like recordings, attendance, or technology issues. I also want this to feel like a conversation, so please feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions at all. First, I want to explain my role. I am currently a counselor in training, which means I'm still developing my counseling skills under clinical supervision. I'm not practicing independently. And so for this simulation, my mock clinical and supervisor is Dr. Fison. She provides oversight and guidance to help make sure that I'm practicing ethically and providing appropriate care. Because I am in training, I may discuss parts of our work together with my supervisor. Purpose of that, it's not to judge you or share unnecessary details. It's basically to help me think through the counseling process, receive feedback, and providing you with the best care that I can. My supervisor is also expected to follow confidentiality and ethical guidelines. Does that part make sense so far? Perfect. So the purpose of counseling is to give you a safe and supportive space to talk about what basically what is bringing you in. We may explore things like your emotions, relationships, patterns, stressors, goals, choices. Counseling is collaborative, which means I'm not here to just tell you what to do or make decisions for you. Instead, we would work together to better understand what is going on. And identify the steps that may help you be able to move forward. I also want you to know that you have a voice in this process. If something I say doesn't fit, if you feel misunderstood, or if you are unsure about the direction we're going, I want you to be able to tell me. That kind of feedback can actually help strengthen the counseling relationship between us. So what questions do you have so far about my role or the purpose of counseling? Great. Another important part of the informed consent is that it is ongoing. So it's something we talk about once at the beginning and then never bring up again. If our goals change, if new concerns come up, if you have questions later or something about counseling doesn't feel clear, we can always come back to this conversation at any time. So one of the biggest parts of counseling is confidentiality. So in general, what you share with me stays private. That privacy is a major part of building trust. At the same time, there are some limits to confidentiality that I do want to explain clearly. If I believe you are a serious risk of harming yourself, if you are threatening serious harm to someone else, or if there is suspected abuse, neglect, or exploitation of a child, an elderly person, or a vulnerable adult, I may be required to take steps to protect safety. So there may also be situations where records are requested by a court order or where information has to be shared as required by law. If something like that ever came up, I would do my best to talk with you about it. And only share what is necessary. Just so I know that I explain clearly, can you tell me what you are hearing me say about confidentiality and its limits? Yeah, that is exactly the main idea. Most of what you share, it's private, but there are certain safety and legal situations where I may need to take action. Also, since this is a telehealth setting, I also want to talk about the environment. I will make sure I am in a private space where I can give you my full attention. I will have my camera on, position it appropriately, use best lighting possible, and do my best to limit distractions. I ask that you also try to be in a private place where you feel comfortable talking openly. If there are other people nearby or if privacy becomes an issue, please let me know. We can decide together whether to continue, to pause, or even reschedule. Obviously, your privacy and comfort matters. So does your current space feel private enough for us to continue today? So at the beginning of telehealth sessions, I may ask where you are physically located and confirm any emergency contact. This is important in case there is a safety concern or if the connection is lost during an emergency. If there was an immediate concern and I couldn't reach you, I may need to contact your emergency contact or even emergency services. I also want to explain what we would do if technology issues come up. If the internet connection freezes, the video stops working, if we get disconnected for whatever reason, I will try to reconnect first. If we cannot reconnect within a few minutes, I may try calling you by phone or use a backup plan that we've agreed on. If the connection keeps getting in the way of the session, we can talk about whether it makes sense to continue or reschedule. So what questions do you have about telehealth, privacy, or what we would do if technology fails? Great. So for this setting, sessions may be recorded only if you give permission. Recordings may be used for supervision, for training, or evaluation of my counseling skills. They're not for public use. If a session is recorded, I will explain who may see it, how it will be stored, and when it will be deleted or no longer used. You have the right to ask questions before agreeing to be recorded. You also have the right to understand what the recording is, what the recording is for before giving consent. So do you have any questions about recording or who would have access to a recording? Great. So I also want to go over attendance expectations. Regular attendance is important because counseling tends to work best when there is consistency. If you need to cancel or reschedule, please try to give as much notice as possible based on the agency or clinic policy. If you miss a session without notice, we would follow the no-show or cancellation policy that was given to you in writing. At the same time, I also understand that life does happen. If attendance becomes difficult, we can talk about what's getting in the way, and whether a different schedule or format or service would be helpful. So do the attendance expectations feel clear to you? Great. So before we move forward, I want to check in with you. We've covered a lot: my role as a counselor in training, my supervision with Dr. Fison, the purpose of counseling, confidentiality and its limits, telehealth, privacy, emergency contact information, technology issues, recording, and obviously attendance. So what questions do you have about anything that I've explained? Okay. Is there anything that you would want me to explain differently or go over again? Are you comfortable moving forward with counseling today? All right. I just thank you for going through all that with me. I know informed consent can feel like a lot at the beginning, but I think it is important that you know your rights and understand the process and feel like you can ask questions. My hope is that this helps us begin with clarity and trust and, a shared understanding of what counseling can look like together. Thank you.